guys? This is the Hard Media Podcast powered by Hard Media Group and Hard Service Solutions. Hard Media Group is a social media solutions company. We create content. We are huge on video. Hard Service Solutions is a very similar company, but focused on the service industry. So anything in or on the home, we market that very, very well. Let's dive in. So we're circling back to something we covered a couple weeks back. It's kind of a reoccurring subject matter, and that is Adidas and Kanye. So they have recently, allegedly, came to an agreement to sell, I want to say about $500 million, 500 million or so of the existing Adidas stock. And to our knowledge, this is the extent of their agreement. Why is Adidas playing ball all of a sudden?
They didn't have a choice. I think we kind of talked about this in the first part, that they were going to have to come to some kind of an agreement. You know, their best selling shoe, the majority of their online sales all came from that shoe. And I don't think they had a choice. They would be heading into that section of business where you don't come back. We talked about them becoming like Reebok or becoming like a Converse, where they're just a commodity shoe. And Adidas doesn't want to be a commodity shoe. They were so far from that while Kanye was there, right? They were the upper echelon of shoes. Even some of their shoes underneath, they were having designers come in that weren't even with Yeezy, that were creating like some wild shoes, and it's all based on their relationship. At this point, I think this is a desperation play. I don't think it's not going to be long-term. It's not going to be sustainable, but it buys them time to figure out what the next steps are.
It's a good point, because if there is no more Kanye and you sell off the stock, and I imagine there's going to be some conversation that says, hey, you know, what are the remaining designs? Are they mine as Kanye? Are they Adidas? Do we share them? If you are using those remaining designs, you know, who gets broken off? How does this work, right? But I think you make a really good point, because, you know, where is the sauce coming from now, right? Kanye brought Adidas back. Like, you go 2015, I don't think anybody's really checking for Adidas pretty much outside of the regular stuff, right? They are very much so starting to be like, oh, yeah, you can find decent Adidas stuff for the low at Kohl's. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, it's not anything premier anymore. So then Kanye comes in and makes them beyond premier and all of a sudden profitable again. A quick segue question. Have you seen in history where essentially an influencer / creator collaborates with a company, the collaboration goes sour, and the influencer / creator kind of holds the company hostage?
Steve Jobs?
Oh, wow. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, Steve Jobs did it.
Do you care to elaborate on that story a little bit?
So if you know the story of Apple, you know, Steve Jobs built Apple to what it is. At the time, they were in hyper growth mode. Mm-hmm. Steve Jobs' vision and Apple almost wanted to become more corporate. Like this, they wanted to like start drifting towards this like Microsoft-y, like more mainstream vibe away from the what Steve Jobs was doing. They boot Steve Jobs out.
He got kicked out
Gets kicked out. Yeah. And then Apple flounders for years, and they basically have to go beg Steve Jobs to come back and take the role, and he changes the course of basically human history after that.
1 second, boys and girls. 1 second. You want to play big boy ball? You get to a level where you are now one of the owners of your company, and you started this company. It was your original idea. You put all this work in to build this company up, but at any given moment, with votes, you can be kicked out of your own company. Like, if you want to play big boy ball, right, big girl ball, whatever you want to call it, that's a high level. And something similar, honestly, almost happened to Elon. You know, the kind of mid to early SpaceX, Tesla. You know, they're like, hey, man, this guy, you can't run the company. They're going to boot this guy out after he put $200+ million of his own cash into both entities. But that's the level at that level, man, like, I could kick you out. We can vote this thing out, and you're done.
I assume that Elon will step down and will exit Tesla at some point.
Why?
It doesn't make sense.
Like
it's done. He did it.
Jeff Bezos step down?
Yeah, I think a little bit like that, where he's involved, but I think he kind of did it. I mean, at this point, he's a builder and a creator. We saw it with PayPal.
Yeah.
You know, I think Tesla will be the next one. He's like, all right,
Yeah.
it works. Okay. Well, someone else run it. And then he'll focus on SpaceX.
And others.
Stuff that he hasn't really completed, but his mark's now kind of done on Tesla.
Yeah.
Is it all the way done? No. But can somebody else probably run that ship?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
So we'll probably see him start to exit.
SpaceX, on the other hand, the sky's the limit at this point. The space is the limit.
Yeah, and I think for him, his bigger goals, would he be better suited at SpaceX full time?
Yeah.
Will eventually probably become a question as well once Tesla's
interesting.
Solidified.
Yeah, I like that. Well, to circle it all the way back, and at this point in the game, I don't know who truly won or lost at this point. We know Adidas is losing.
I mean, they were losing before Kanye.
Exactly.
So you just inserted steroids, and then you removed the steroids, and now they're losing again.
Kanye has the edge, but he took some hurt as well in this situation because, you know, before he gets unhappy, says some things that, in my opinion, he purposely knew this was going to create this disarray, and he kind of purposely monkey wrenched the situation. Just my opinion. I'm not saying that's true, but when I look at it that way, you know, Kanye is feeling some of the hurt too. He had to be exposed. He had to get a little bit of hurt to get that independence back, right? But when you look at the situation with Adidas now, they're going to sell this remaining stock. They're going to get their money. They're going to get their profits. They're going to have a good 2023 if this agreement is really real, right? But after, because I don't think that they will make an agreement with Kanye that makes sense anymore.
Long term, no, I don't think so.
I think it has to be over, right? And I think Kanye wanted it to be over. Adidas obviously didn't want it to be over. But, man, I can't help but think that Kanye still is 100% in the driver's seat of this situation, and Adidas is still where they were 7+ years ago. Reebok. You know what I mean?
I think you're accurate. So, question.
Yeah.
Same gear, slightly different. Outside the controversy, recent controversy, does Kanye belong in the midst of Jobs, of Musk? Is he at that level?
Yeah. I thought he was a couple of years back. Only reason why I say that is because I'll just focus on Jobs. I think he's more similar to Jobs than he is Elon, but very similar. And I just want to say it like this. I'll focus on Jobs, then I'll go to Elon. So when I see what him and Jobs have done is they've taken an item that's, you know, been around for a little minute, right? Shoes have been around a lot longer than phones, but Jobs takes an item and says, I'm going to completely reinvent the wheel, which we are always told, don't do that, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel. But these guys are on a level where we don't need to tell them that. They are wheel inventors, right? So we come up with this phone that's just like, what the fuck, you know? And then Kanye says, I don't like the way the shoes look. I don't like how the shoes are done. Nike has set a precedent. Reebok, Adidas have all set the precedent of what shoes look like. And then Kanye says, no, I don't want to do that. I want to make something new. And everybody's going to look at it and think it's ugly, and then it just blew up, right? Elon, very similar in a way where he was just so daring because he took Tesla, which was already an existing company, and said, hey, I'm all in on this. You know, SpaceX, which was not already existing, which was revolutionary, right? Nobody privatizes space travel. Nobody can successfully launch an electric car company that makes money. And he did both of those. So I do put Kanye in that category, which, again, like you said, the stuff that he said, the controversial things that he said, people will probably put an asterisk or a ding behind him and say, nah, they won't include him in the category. But if you're a real entrepreneur, if you really understand business and respect business, you have to put Kanye up there for sure.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yep. Let's segue a little bit. So this is a topic that we've been hot on, not just as business owners, but as consumers as well, because we've been kind of utilizing it. There's an AI takeover that in the last 60 days has hit the scene crazy, and it's a little bizarre, the capabilities of AI and how fast AI has come upon us. What are your thoughts on this essentially AI takeover And I'd like you to speak, number one as an entrepreneur, but then maybe where you kind of see this thing going, just in your opinion entirely.
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, I mean, unless you're in the tech space or the AI space, it felt like within a 6-week period, we went from the non-existence of AI to it having the ability to do almost every facet of business that is being done digitally, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost overwhelming, right? I mean, to a business like ours, businesses that are playing in this space, it's to an extent where we're already utilizing it. We were very early adapters in part of it to use it for some content generation on the written pieces to help, go search for things to help cultivate some different thoughts, right? Very early adapters on that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the things you can do now, I think we don't even know. We're still in the searching process. The team is doing more and more research on it, and we're going to try to figure out where we're going to be. What it's going to mean for companies like ours is that we're going to need less humans.
Mm-hmm.
We can take the most skilled people, which, I think everyone's been complaining for the last 5 years, of being able to retain skilled people. We have a great team. We can now hand them the tools they need to scale their jobs and make them even better than they were, because now they can handle a higher workload and they have the reassurance that they have a tool that can kind of get rid of some of the meaningless tasks.
Yeah. Are we unprepared?
Everyone's unprepared. I don't think anyone's prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like some people we were just talking about, maybe Tesla, maybe Apple, maybe these guys that are giants.
Well, they have big data.
Right, big data.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So they knew about this. They understood the applications way before the consumers got to it.
Average business owner?
Yeah.
So unprepared.
So unprepared.
We just saw tech layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see layoffs from this.
For sure.
It maybe not now. But how many times do we work or partner with other agencies and they're bloated?
And they're suffering
They're suffering because they're bloated. They have too many people. They have too much software. They have too much of everything.
Yeah.
And it makes them slow to react.
Yeah.
And it makes them high overhead.
Yeah.
AI is going to alleviate that, but it's going to come with some human pain.
Some damage.
It's going to come with some damage.
Yeah.
People are going to lose jobs.
Yeah.
People are going to be in tough spots, and they're going to have a hard time finding jobs because those jobs that would have been out there are going to be replaced.
Right. I mean, the thing is, it's going to be less humans.
Less humans.
For now. And the reason why I say for now is because this AI is going to come and it's going to make things way more efficient. When you make things way more efficient, something dies. A process, a job of somebody, an older piece of equipment, older piece of technology, something has to be obsolete now when this new thing comes. So a part of that is going to be humans are going to, people are going to lose a lot of jobs, right? But the reason why I say for now is because if something else shuts down, something else opens up, right? And I'm not too astute on this, but even in the manufacturing space, right, where some of this AI is going to make some of the human operators, some of even the equipment obsolete. But when now this one thing becomes obsolete, where do we focus our humans at? Where do we focus our energy and intellect and skill? It has to convert somewhere else. So I think there's going to be a time period where this thing is so disruptive that people are going to really hate AI or maybe be afraid of it because they don't understand it. But things are going to open up. Another area that is a potential situation is AI and self-driving trucks, self-driving vehicles. I don't know when. No one in this room can predict when, but this is coming upon us.
This is going to become a political conversation.
Oh, big time.
It reminds me of like when we started allowing like heavy amounts of immigration and migrant workers, and South Park made the big play on it, right?
Wow.
They took my job.
Yeah.
They took my job.
That's interesting.
But now we're going to see that political play out on the AI. This is the first time we've seen white collar jobs be replaced.
That is so interesting on many levels, because then a lot of people who are afraid of AI are really going to play with this, and this is going to become seriously political because it's almost looking like an intruder.
It's going to be confusing, right? When
you know what I mean?
High profits have been a portion of the conservative party for the most part, pushing profits, pushing corporations, pushing companies to be better, stronger, faster, more lean.
Yeah.
technology has been this mouthpiece of the other side, right? Technology has leaned very much in the liberal side of the party, and
You're
big
talking
tech has
about,
been,
I want to distinguish because I think it's important if people are listening. You're talking about the culture or ideology of the tech companies,
correct.
not the people who utilize.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the tech companies, the people designing the tech, have like almost always had a more liberal leaning policy, even from where they're located and those type of things, right?
For sure.
And we've seen the opposite of what AI is going to do in replacing jobs and these type of things and making companies more successful has been of the other party.
Yeah.
Where this is going to land politically is going to be very, very interesting.
I mean, if you go back to big immigration, whether you're talking about the Asians coming in out west, what they did to disrupt some of the blue collar out west, right? There was at one point in history, the Irish and the Asians did not like each other out west, right? The eyes, it's almost like the crabs in a bucket. Everybody's trying to get out of the bucket. There's only so many crumbs, and this particular group had the crumbs, and now another particular group comes in, and now they're trying to get the crumbs, right? And we're all fighting over this, right? When you talk about some of the political games that are going to be played, when you look at some of the heartstrings that are going to be played, and it's going to seem like another player from another country has just come in and are now stealing our jobs. And that new player is going to be AI, which comes from us, right? So it's going to get super interesting.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a really ugly downturn culturally
Yeah.
Against AI, and then we'll utilize the technology correctly. People will find their places, and I think we will start to see the death of the 40-hour work week. People will have more free time. They'll spend more time with their family.
Yeah.
They'll still have high-earning jobs because of what they're doing will be more important than ever. And we'll utilize the AI to live a better, more high-quality life. Yeah. But I think we're going to have some really ugly times in between.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful in between. But you're right. Well, and I'm just a proponent. I just support technology, especially the natural progression of tech. And what people don't understand is the wheel is tech. Like literally when they developed a wheel to roll things, to carry things, that is technology. Like let's just call it like it is. Now we look at tech and we're thinking of like the Jetsons and shit. But like I embrace all advancements, and it's going to be painful for some. Even for us in our own company, it could be painful. We think we're going to win using it and leveraging it. We think it plays in our favor, but it could be the 100% opposite. Because if a company knew it had I always say CMO level expertise, right? If they had that expertise, they could now build this function 100% in-house. Probably cost them a little bit in the front, but once they get that thing going, it's, you know what I mean? It could be a great marketing program. So that's all I have on that one. Lastly, and I think this is a good segue, I would say over the last 3 to 4 years, I've noticed this. I've noticed crypto millionaires that came out of nowhere, online businesses that were, and I mean no disrespect by this, but sometimes they can be a little gimmicky, right? Where you've got drop shipping, right? That was a huge thing. And people are still making money off of drop shipping. We kind of talked about some of the ebooks and the education stuff, right? Which still huge, still a booming industry. There's plenty of places to win there. We want to eventually kind of migrate over in that area and see what we can do. But what I'm really talking about is a lot of over-speculated, a lot of inflated business models, hustles that we've seen over the last 3 to 4 years that I don't know if they're going to be here very much longer or if they're going to hold the same weight. We have had moments in our own entrepreneurial endeavors where we're looking at certain businesses like, man, that's too hard. Why are we working so hard? You can just go over here and do drop shipping, or you can just go over here and launch an ebook, or you can just go over here and invest in the crypto, and these guys are making all this money. I think that is going to go away, and you have to get back to really building businesses that are here now and built for the future and no more gimmicks. So what are your thoughts? Because you may see it a different way. What are your thoughts over the last maybe 4 to 5 years? And a lot of, again, this is Derek's opinion, a lot of over speculation in business.
I think early adapters always win in gimmicky business and gimmicky plans, right? So like what you see is you see early adapters win. They make a lot of money. And then you see then the masses come following, and then somewhere there's a cutoff line, and everyone underneath that gets shit on, right? And that's how it works. There's no better way of putting it.
That was good. Yeah. Continue.
So when you look at that, right, that concept, these over speculated businesses, I think social media, the companies themselves have been horribly over speculated.
Yeah.
And big tech has been over speculated, but we're going to see the trickle down to other businesses that were nonsense. We've seen it with Carvana. We saw it with Airbnb. They had their first profitable year last year, and they're down. I don't know how much, 23% or something.
Just pause for just a second. Carvana was a premier stock over the last couple of years. It was booming. People loved Carvana, loved the concept. I remember you and I talking about another company. I think it was like a roofing company that kind of adopted that Carvana concept, and we were like, yo, this is the future. This is awesome. 12 months
either.
12 months later, not only did that company not work, but Carvana, all the experts, I'm not going to say all the experts, but shit tons of experts are saying Carvana is done. It is dead. Call it a day. Wrap it up. Let's move on.
Sometimes advancing things for the sake of advancing things doesn't work. I mean, that's what we've seen is that if you could advance something for the sake of doing it, everyone will jump on board because like, oh, we're in the future. Oh my God, we're in the future.
Yeah.
But are you?
For sure.
I mean, you're buying a car. Like, do you really not want to get in it? Do you really not want to touch it, see it, feel it?
Right.
Certain things like that, I just don't know if we're ready for the change or if we'll ever be.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate really quick. Is it the concept that's not working, or did Carvana not execute?
Both.
Because the concept to me is, for instance, some people do not get that detailed in the cars. They just don't, right? For instance, some people buy a car and they say, hey, before I buy this car, I want to take it to the inspector. I want to have it inspected by a third party, right? Especially when you're buying like more expensive luxury type cars, right? You want to be careful because any little thing that happens in a Mercedes or something like that, it can cost you crazy money, right? But that's very few. Most people really, I trust you, the price is good, blah, blah, blah. Most people probably don't even vet that much. So the concept for Carvana, in my opinion, was fantastic, but something in the workings, something in the operations did not go well. And I think that this concept will not die. Maybe someone will come in afterwards, or maybe all the people are saying Carvana is dead. Somebody's going to get really smart and risky and put some money into that stock, and then somehow, some way, Carvana just gets back together and they look like geniuses and all we look like dumbasses.
Yeah, the Wall Street boys.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're still, I know this is like, we have differing opinions on this, but I got to bring it up. I don't know if any of these concepts are working, right? They're all over speculative. Netflix still is not making money, right? Still not making money.
Yeah.
Will it ever make money? None of these, like these futuristic style businesses, which are awesome. Yeah. I love them. But they're unable to profit. And can a business that doesn't profit work, even if you like the features?
So in my opinion, you got an hourglass. Everybody's got an hourglass, but these particular companies you're talking about, they have an hourglass, right? If you're not making money, eventually you will run out of this sand, which is your life as a company, and things will be severely problematic. But where I think this speculation may be here to stay to a degree is, one second. I think they're coming our way. Yeah, they're right there. Typical day. Yeah, typical day. Shit, I ain't even saying anything because I live on Dorothy Lane. And all I hear is fucking ambulances all day. I'm like, God damn, where y'all going? Like, I feel like there's really not even like calamities. Like somebody just call and they just gotta show up. Like, fuck it, man, government spending, bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here. What's up? Yeah, there's a cat in there. There's like 4 fire trucks. Like, yo, come on, man, why y'all doing that? But
I think they have to go to all EMT calls too. Yeah, they do. Yeah,
see, you know what I mean?
they're the closest.
I see some shit, man. What was I saying? I forgot. I was
You said
here's what I'm saying. So your point is, hey, you've got these companies that are severely overspeculated. Netflix doesn't make money. Carvana is on its last leg, or maybe just done. Period. But what I was going to say was, this is where it gets gray. You have these companies that are losing money, but the usage is still high, right? And to me, if the usage is still high, but you're losing money, there's something in that scope that's fixable. You know what I mean? Because people are still buying your services. People are still buying your product. You're not profitable. Something that you're doing to make your money is not working. And when I see that people are still buying, when I see that people are still engaging, that lets me know that there's something in there that we can figure out over time. And I think Amazon is one of the premier companies that did that, where I don't know what it was at least 7 years, almost a decade of consistent losses, but their revenues kept growing. The amount of people who are engaging with their brand or using their brand kept growing. So as long as those things are happening, right, eventually that hourglass will run out. Investors may get stale and they're like, hey, man, I'm sorry, I can't pour any more money in that. Now you're in an Elon situation where he's like, hey, man, I know I believe in Tesla's going to be the shit. And now I got to call the guys from Google and say, hey, man, can you please just buy me out? But remember, I'm CEO, all right? You know what I mean? You might be in that situation. So that's why I'm kind of, I would still
Facebook work too.
I would
Same
say
thing, right?
same thing. I would still say that if I can see in the data, if I can see in the P&Ls some of those measurables that make sense. And when I look at Netflix, and I haven't looked at their P&L since last year, but when I look at Netflix, I just look at usage. And I'm saying if we still have usage, somewhere in there, we have a chance. So,
I mean, other people are doing it. There's
Yeah.
other streaming services doing it. Netflix has put themselves in just a couple binds.
Yeah.
We'll see.
yeah, and they were an early adopter. They were pretty much one of the ones who were here first. But now you look up and you got serious competition. And I think the same thing is going to happen with Tesla. Look up right now. Every automaker is now going where? E.
Yeah, but they're all trash
For now, it's new.
for now. Well,
It's
the problem is like there's no hyperchargers anywhere, right? You
Yeah.
can't. It doesn't
Well,
exist. So you're
Tesla's got the
plugging in
game on
forever.
smash when
Right.
it comes to that. That's why
That's
they're
gonna be a
number
problem.
one. Everybody had a fast e-car, but no one had a fast e-car that was like truly something that was sustainable over 5 years that you could use. And you had an infrastructure to charge it, and you had an infrastructure to maintenance it. You know what I mean? He figured that out. But I just think that there are certain companies that are just going to die off, right? But I think if there's certain measurables there that even when the company is losing money consistently, lets me know that has potential to turn around. And we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it. You know what I mean? So, but back to the original point, we're not just talking about, I want to make it clear that we're not just talking about major companies. We're talking about some of the small business guys that you've seen over the last 3 or 4 years. Some of these roofing cats, some of these social media, digital marketing company cats, any and all types of companies. Be honest, some of these retail guys.
Well, they were stupid with their money, and that's another thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think the time of like just stupid spending for the sake of doing it because you just know that it's coming in. Like you have investors, you have all this surplus of money, and not watching your budget. Like like the day in the life of a Twitter employee.
Yeah.
Like that chaos.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
You see it locally too, like with roofing companies who are
Yeah.
going out buying truck wraps, TV commercials. Like, man, you're only doing $3 million a year.
Why
Are
are
you
you doing
sure
that?
you should be doing that?
Yeah, yeah. Think about this, though. We see this every time we have a recession or things start to get bad. Every time we start to get bad, now companies like, hey, we can't do that anymore. I got to cut the fat. You know what I mean? But instead of just like you said, like you have hot times, and you can get drunk in these hot times by success. So you're overspending. You're buying stupid shit. Like, nah, man, we got to get the Tesla. Why? Why not just get the Ford? Well, Tesla's better. Okay, no problem. You know what I mean? Now you got overhead, bigger bills. I know, right? There is no dating. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. Let's just keep it real. Yeah. I'll just finish this point and then we can move on.
Yeah.
But all I was trying to say is that we've seen companies obviously lose money year over year. We've seen the articles. We've seen the media just shit on them. And I mean, I remember seeing things. Bezos done. Elon's done. Get that guy out of here. Get a new CEO. Blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, these guys are the top dogs of the industries, right? So Netflix, I don't know about Carvana yet. I'm a little nervous about them. But I think there are some companies that are going to turn it around. Not to just key on the big major companies, there's also your local businesses, your mid-sized businesses, your 1 to 5 million, your 5 million to 10 million, who have also gotten caught up in the over speculation, and they've seen success, and and you're seeing some of these companies, and we're not going to be saying names, but we're seeing some companies that might go for sale here pretty soon.
100%.
You know, they're looking for investors. They don't want to work with banks, and now that the banks' interest rates are so high, it's even complicated the matter even more because sometimes you need investment. Where are you going to get it from? What investment vehicles now make sense, or what channels make sense? So it's going to get interesting. I think over the next 12 to 24 months, you're going to see a lot of shit go on sale, and I think you're also going to see like who's really on their game.
The companies that stayed low, high cash flow, kept life in check, will come out of this on the opposite side. Mm-hmm. More profitable than ever because there's going to be more customers available. Mm-hmm. They're going to have more tools, and their competition is going to eliminate itself.
The customers and the tools. Yeah. Like we can't sleep on the tools. Like we just talked about the AI stuff. We pretty much had a meeting earlier where we're like mandatory telling our team like, bring me back AI product that works. Experiment, test, figure this out.
Yeah, we have a tight-knit team. I don't want to expand it if I don't have to.
No.
You know, but you don't understand is I think the other thing is like how much easier it is to keep your overall culture without expanding too.
That's a deep subject because the more you hire, the more your company culture is a little compromised.
100%.
Because you keep bringing in new that you have to bring into the culture. Now, obviously, rule of thumb, HR is you're finding out if they're a good fit in the culture through the due diligence / interview processes, right? But that don't always tell you the story because, you know, we've all dated that one person who was cool like the first month and then like, yo, she's psycho, bro. You know what I mean? It can happen in the employee situation as well.
Yeah, we've seen it from time to time with people. Like we will go to like a company we work with and all of a sudden, hey, here's our new marketing manager. Like, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah, you see it already. Oh, we're out of here.
Yep.
Yeah,
we're going to get fired or they're going to get fired.
Right.
This isn't going to work.
Yeah, because you got two people trying to occupy the same spot, so that's even weirder. So, any other additional topics you want to throw out there? You good?
We're good. Let's wrap it.
I'm good, man.